Habit number 3 in taking more interesting photos is getting to know your camera. Cameras are interesting in as far as a creative tool. You'll hear people say when you've taken a nice photo, "Oh, you must have a good camera," and that's not true. I mean, you don't say that to a chef. You must have a good oven. You don't say it to a painter. You must have a good paintbrush. About the only other creative art that gets as engaged in its tech is probably guitar players. They'll nerd out a little bit, just like us camera folks. So, as exciting as the technology is in cameras, and as awesome as it is to learning it, one thing to beware: cameras are awesome, but the photo isn't made with this. It's not the button on the camera; it's you. So as you're learning your camera, understanding what it can do, what it does well, what it doesn't do very well, that'll help you to take more creative and interesting photos. So if you have a camera like this with all sorts of knobs and dials and buttons, learn what they all do with the purpose of understanding what options creatively that gives you. Learn how to manage shutter speed, learn how to manage aperture, ISO, so that you can take the kind of photos you want to take. That's why you want to learn all the things your camera does. Another thing you want to learn on your camera, if you have a camera like this, is understand how the menu system works, what all the options are in here, some creative options in here, how to set focusing, how to set speeds, and all that good stuff that's inside the menuing system. So learn that. And understand it as best you can. One of the fun things that'll happen as you're doing habit number 2, which is taking lots of photos, is your camera will just become, you'll know where everything is. You'll know where the buttons are, the knobs and the dials, and you'll know when you hold this up to your eye what to turn, what to change to get the kind of photos you want. So combine habit number 2, taking lots of photos, practice, 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 and habit number 3, getting to know your camera. And that's a great way to start taking more interesting photos. So if your phone is your camera, even though it's pretty simple, there's a lot of little things to learn to help you take more interesting photos. And one of them, maybe the first one, is to look and see if you have 2 lenses. It's amazing how different things look from the 1x in this case to 2x. Get closer. If I'm looking farther away, it's like I'm closer or farther away. So make sure you know how to do that. Check out the different modes on your camera, the different ways of working. For this class, please make sure you are taking all your photos at the regular size, not square or panorama. Also, my suggestion for this class, on iPhones at least, is to turn off the live photo. That's up here at the top in the middle. It's a little bullseye looking thing. That's a short little video before you take a photo. It'll take about a second or 2 of a video that makes your photo look alive, but it gets in the way of the software we use in class for editing photos. So my suggestion is to turn that off in this class. So learn how your phone works. One of the coolest things to learn on phones is to see how close you can get. Phones will focus really close to objects, to subjects. Let's see, how close can I get? Right about there. Even at the 2x, you're even double close. So that's about an inch or 2 away, and it's still in focus. So that's a neat thing to figure out on your phone to try that out. The rest of the stuff is pretty self-explanatory. So that's your phone. Make sure you understand how it works. In addition to taking photos vertically, don't forget, your phone will take photos horizontally. Try it. One more thing to do as far as getting to know your camera better is to go ahead and, if you download a version of the camera's manual onto your computer or your phone or your tablet or all 3. So here's what you do. You just go to your favorite web browser and then just search for your camera name and then the model number and add the word manual and PDF. So you click on that and then you look here to find your owner's manual, click on it, it'll download, and away you go. My recommendation is to synchronize that with your phone, synchronize it with your other devices so that no matter where you are, those features that you might only use once in a while will be available to you by looking it up. Another thing is to get used to understanding the name of all the different features so that if you're not sure how it works and you can't find it in the manual, you can just Google it. Google is a great resource and sometimes faster than using the manual. So if you're trying to, for example, want to know how to use the self-timer on your camera, it might be faster to Google self-timer than your camera name and then hit return and see what comes up. So here's my manual for my camera. And depending on your operating system and what web browser you're using, you would just go ahead and then save this to your computer. Done.